So Anaya's going through her speech and why she's going to try to keep her connection with Casey, and she's saying all these things about how great Carl is, and so was Melanie. And to actually hear someone say how great someone is, and Melanie too, she was like, nobody's ever done these things for me that Corey's done, and they're talking about how great the guys are, and then they say, but I'm going to stay in my connection with you know the guy. And to hear that sounds so crazy. Like, I don't know why, like, they it's coming out of their mouths, but do they hear it? Because it sounds so crazy. Kate is trying to read Zach because he knows. Here, I think he's looking over at Corbin because he knows. All the guys know. So now the only thing left is for Casey to come out. Anaya looks great here, though. Here comes Anaya and Tierra. Or not Anaya and Tierra. Oh my God. Casey and Tierra. And Jen says he has a girl. This is when she says, "You know what? You guys were all right. I'm stupid. I'm so stupid." Carl felt so bad for her. Casey didn't care. He didn't care about Anaya. He doesn't care about Anaya. He was just like, sorry. When Ariana asked him how she felt about her reaction, he was like, "It's a sad reaction." And the girls were getting more and more angry. He was like, "I have to do this for me." And here's the thing. He's such Okay, so he's mad because he never got over the fact that nobody picked him in the beginning, right? Wherever he must be that dude where he's from, because in the very first episode when nobody stood behind his door, not even Naya, because they were a couple by default, he's still mad about that, right? And he won't let it go. He was like, "Nobody picked me. Nobody picked me." So I don't know. All that, I don't know. So Anaya was like, "What do you mean? I picked you every time. I picked you at the fire pit. I picked you with the letters." And she did. But here's the thing, I think KC is thinking in his head because he's thinking about not the fact that he missed exploring Soul, and all the times he chose in his head, he decided not to explore Soul and to choose Anaya, but she didn't know that he was so into Soul. So I think that's what his problem is. I think he's still mad about not being chosen on the first day, and he's mad about Soul getting away from him, but he hasn't really said that out loud. But I'm 100% sure that's what his problem is, because he always looked like he hated that Soul left, and Anaya didn't see that. And why does he look like a villain? "You didn't pick me in the beginning." Carl's trying to reassure her, but she can't even hear him. He's just mouthing it. He just really seems like a genuinely good guy. But she felt like she wanted to find shit in her life. So then Trinity was like, "Wait a minute, you were talking stuff about me and Bryce being you were surprised we were a favorite couple, but you must not have been that into Anaya because you switched so quickly." And then here we go with Tierra. She I think the Casa girls, and I made a separate little video about this last night because I couldn't go to sleep without saying this, but I think that they just felt like they don't want to come in like season 6, and remember how the Casa girls felt like they were being bullied, and the girls weren't talking to them and all that. And I feel like her and Parmita came in hot because they're like, we're that's not going to be us. But this is the wrong approach. And when Anaya said, "What is this, Bad Girls Club?" I was with her on that one. We Listen, she can leave. The next time they vote for the least favorite couple, we these two, or Corbin and Parmita, but Parmita should be out of the villa, I'm thinking. And speaking of Parmita, she had the nerve to say Corbin and Kenzie's connection was physical. So is yours and Corbin's. I'm just saying. So anyway, when Tira started talking about trying to defend KC, Trinity was like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him." And Anaya was like, "He's a grown man. Let him talk." Look at Bryce's face when Trinity was getting into it with Tierra. Tierra told Trinity she was a little girl, and yeah, and she was all like, and Trinity was like, "I don't know you." She's like, "I'm TT. I'm TT." No, no, TT needs to go. We don't do that on this show. Casey was like, I don't need anybody I don't need anybody to respect me. They were like, we don't worry. Carl said he wishes Anaya the best. Why is she smirking? Ugh. Well, I know why. She can't believe what just happened. And she was about to cry. And I have to give it to Melanie because Melanie's looked over, first of all, when right after Trinity and Bryce were about to recouple, I think it was right here. And Anaya knew she was next and she was looking really worried. Um, yeah. Um, Melanie came up, she noticed that. And I just think that's a good quality that she was Melanie was aware of what was going on with Anaya with all the other stuff that was going on. And so she leaned over to her and put her hand on her leg. She did the same thing here when she noticed that Anaya was about to lose it. Everything was over. Ariana had left already and everybody was just sitting there. And Melanie noticed that she was about to cry and she immediately got up and she said, "Don't cry here." And she whispered it to her. And I just really appreciate that about because people are so caught up in themselves in life in general that when there's someone who's paying attention, I just think that's a really good quality. So Melanie went up to her and she said, "Don't cry here," and they got up. Anaya was walking off and she's like, "I should have kept Carl," and she was about to break down and lose it, and Melanie kept it going. Like Anaya stopped and the Melanie was like, "Come on, let's go. You don't need to do this here." So I like that. So it's over. Everybody's walking off and we're trying to, so the next thing is, like Sunday night or the next thing, so they're letting us vote, and they're letting us vote on which casa person that we want to come back. We all know we're going to vote Carl, right? But I don't even know if Carl is going to want to. I wouldn't be surprised if Carl didn't accept because who wants to walk into that? You know what I mean? But maybe he will. If he really liked her, maybe he will. And then I'm thinking for the girl, it's probably going to be Amor because I think people don't want Sincere to get off that easy, and putting Amor in back in the villa will make him uncomfortable, and it may make him expose himself. So not expose himself, but expose the lies. But anyway, I can't wait for Sunday night. And I'm probably gonna watch After Sun. I don't usually watch After Sun, but I think I might watch it. But we'll see what's next.